Welcome to a special edition of This Generation. I'm your host, Bethany Stanley. I'm standing in front of my school, Matnuska Christian in Palmer, Alaska. If you've never seen This Generation before, you're in for a real treat. Come with us as we take you to 4 of the villages we've traveled to for a look at this generation.
In Inupiaq, it means more than one river. In the Inupiaq way, it means a great deal more. It is a way of life, a sense of pride that radiates from the people who live and breathe its air. It is the place where God rests his head at the end of the day. It holds a certain charm, an indescribable beauty that can only be found here, in the eyes of the Inupiaq people. It is Selawik. Located about 70 miles southeast of Kotzebue, this second-class city sits at the mouth of the Selawik River, where it empties into the Selawik Lake. Surrounded by a maze of waterways, freight and fuel are commonly shipped upriver from Kotzebue or brought in by air. The people of this region subsist mainly on moose, caribou, waterfowl, upland game birds, and berries. Occasionally, seal and beluga whale supplement their diet. The village is divided into 3 parts, which are linked together by bridges that span the Selawik River. And the streets? Well, the streets are actually a series of boardwalks that weave throughout the village. At first glance, it appears to be an active little village where the whole community is busy working. But it hasn't always been this way. Like many villages across the state, Selawik has very few employment opportunities available, and what jobs there are in town have already been filled.
The biggest challenge, I think, to all of the programs in the villages is a predictable one, which is that there are very few employment opportunities immediately available for young people, as distinct, say, from a city where there are a fair number of employment opportunities.
I dropped out, not to help out my family, help out. Mostly just help make my family live.
Got into trouble with a few other people here and couldn't go to school because of that, and so I quit. And I didn't go back because of the drugs and stuff I got into.
In the whole region, we've got over a 50% dropout rate in the Northwest Arctic Borough, from kids 8th grade through high school. In villages like Selawik and other villages like this, the dropout rate can even climb to 70%.
We do have increased number of dropout rate now, and we try to get them out of that situation by employing them or putting them to work, so they could, when they go in the outside world, they could have a stepping stone and they can deal with that.
That's why the Youth Opportunity Program was created.
The reason for the Youth Opportunity Grant was to develop employment and education opportunities for the youth in the villages throughout Alaska. For me, in my own words, I think that YOG is basically hope. Hope for the youth. An opportunity for them to explore things that they never thought existed out there.
Through this grant, the kids of Selawik are receiving valuable work experience that will help prepare them for the workforce.
It's 81 3/4, so you want at least 1 inch gap on top here.
I have 4 full-time students that work 7 hours a day and 5 4-hour ones. The ages are from 14 to 21. Right now, nobody does this. Hauling trash for the church, and we got this opportunity to clean up outside today with the youth. They are gonna haul all the drums and all the unwanted wood that need to go to the dumps. I have 3 girls that work at our city office that is under low funded right now, and they're working filing papers, typing, faxing for our city office. That is very good for them, because this is the first time I have all these students, first time employed, first time they're on a job with pay, and they're staying out of trouble, getting up 9 o'clock in the morning and realizing that they could do something better with their lives.
Learn how to tear up floors, fix on sidewalks, work with tools, communicate better with people.
Right there I'm working for YOG, something like Manila. It's like labor, just help out. It's like just work around town, work on the boardwalks. And now we're trying to fix this building up, piece by piece.
I don't know, all kinds of stuff, working on boardwalks and helping everything out, pushing stuff into the stores and stuff.
We try to teach them, what goes on within the work, and we've had a couple that are, that quit on us, but we try to pull them back. We try to get them off the street and try to make them work, or give them work, something to do during the summer hours.
When I first started, I worked at city office, learning how to do files, and then I moved to the clinic, and I'm starting to learn how to do WIC, and teaching. They're teaching me that it would, if I were to get a job about that, it's gonna be easy because I'm learning how to do it now. We're glad for this job here because a lot of young people like us do drugs, and this job really stops us from, and it helps our family from worrying about us, and day by day it's getting easier to get up early in the morning, and that leads to getting up early for school, getting ready for school.
The ones that are really putting effort to it are the ones that are being role models for the other kids. So in turn, they're helping themselves work with them. So it's been good. I've seen a couple of really good kids that are, gonna be leaders in the long run.
Some kids think smoking weed makes you cool. What about those who think you already are?
Music theater to Alaska studies isn't very far, but this next village is far away in the middle of the Bering Sea.
Kim Antoghame is a youth coordinator for the Youth Opportunity Program in Gambell. Growing up in Gambell, Kim knows what these kids are going through.
They don't have, a hangout here in Gambell, and they want like a youth center or something, built here for them. Something to do because they're always hanging out elsewhere and they don't know where to go.
Most of the teens around here that I know started smoking, drinking, and all that. To tell you the truth, I was once really into that stuff, so I had nothing to do. I know most of them are probably dying from boredom, and that's very contagious. All they do is just ride around all night and nothing to do in the day.
As you can see, when you look around here, there's not much of a cash flow or economic base. Part of the DOL's, at least the initiative, was to try to help these students or these youth, both at risk, the out of school and in school youth, to start thinking about their careers.
I've been trying to get a job for this summer. So far, I haven't found one.
There seems to be a sense of hopelessness among a lot of our youth, helplessness, powerlessness. If we want to continue that trend, all we have to do is do nothing. But I think if we start actually doing something about it and start thinking about the strengths themselves, the potential and the possibilities, especially among our youth and the communities, and build upon that, I think we can go far.
I know for a fact that the youth, their culture is very strong. Like with Eskimo dancing and singing, there's a lot of youth that participate in that, and that means a lot to them.
Our native dancing, we've got a lot of our arts and crafts. Now, all we have to do is to start trying to develop some ways of actually getting it to the market. We have to start thinking about what other kind of opportunities, job opportunities can we create at the local level? We're not going to be developing jobs and fixing airports forever. We have to go beyond.
And that's exactly what these kids are doing. Thanks to the Youth Opportunity Program, these youth are planning for their futures and the future of their villages.
After I get out of high school, I'll get to National Guard. Then after all that, I'll go to college.
After high school, I was thinking about going Job Corps, get some credit, computer technology. Maybe aviation.
Child development or accounting.
10 years from now, what I envision is a very proud people, independent. I would like to see bridges between the youth and the elders. I would like to see our kids having joy, places to go. The big thing is that each one of us, especially among our youth, that we can walk around with dignity and pride.
It's a place where you see fish drying over doorways and the remains of a recently successful hunt. It's a village which trusts that Mother Earth will provide everything they need, including a subtle breeze to dry their clothes. 19-year-old Victor Seaton has grown up in Hooper Bay and knows the village and its people well.
And those guys are going out to the Navuk spit and go out fishing, set out whitefish net, Okhtokiyuk, they call it. and they're getting some whitefish for the family. And also the teenagers around here like to do is go fishing in the rivers, monocle, and catch tomcods and other fish with hooks on a line they throw into the river. They catch a lot of tomcods and devilfish, and they bring them home and either dry them or cook them for soup. The life out here we live is way much different than the city. We have to haul our own water, pack our own water from rain gutters along the houses, and they pack water from down the beach here in certain ponds and bring it home and boil it for a couple hours. We're working on a sewer system. It's been going on for a couple of years now. So we only have honey buckets, and they're working on the water sewer system. And we'll be having running water pretty soon, maybe in the next 5 years or so. That's the estimated time when Hooper Bay will have running water and toilets.
Hooper Bay is not completely sheltered from the outside world. They do have stores in town, 4 to be exact, and modern conveniences such as outboard motors for their boats. The village is expanding, and there's even a new washateria being built. But there are a lot of things that Hooper Bay does not have, like enough jobs, and in a community where the kids make up almost half of the population, many are left wondering what they will do in the future. 17-year-old Simon Black is no stranger to work. He spends his evenings and weekends working at the AC store as a stocker.
Most things I do is just face the items, bag groceries, and stock what needs to be brought up.
In addition to working at the store, Simon is currently president of the Youth Council.
For me being president, I only have about 4 months, and this is my last month as president. There'll be a new candidate for October for another 4 months. Every 4 months they get new candidates for a YO program.
This is a way to ensure that all of the youth involved in the program get a chance to work in a leadership position.
I collected these drums, and these drums are for trash bins around Hooper Bay and to keep our community clean. I had gone on to Youth Opportunity Community Center, and they suggested it, and Sea Lion was throwing away old drums, so I picked these ones up. They brought it up to me, and they put me in charge of the project. And from what I hear, they're telling me I'm doing a very good job at it, and they're proud of me, and I'm proud of them, what they are saying to me, and it drives me to excel every day.
All I do is just show them what the outline of the thing, maybe the school or the work experience. All I do is lay out the things they need to do, and they just take over and they run it themselves. And that's where we're empowering the community, especially the youth.
One student from Hooper Bay who is taking care of herself is 18-year-old Trina Gump. After finishing high school in Hooper Bay, Trina took part in the Youth Enrichment Program, which is part of the YOG program, and is now attending the University of Alaska Anchorage.
I'm a UA scholar, so I get $11,000 to pay for 4 years of college, and that all goes to tuition. I am a pre-nursing major. When I graduate, I want to work at the Alaska Native Medical Center and work with natives and help my native community out. A lot of village students or people they're not used to coming to the urban areas, and like, so they come to college, a big class of students. They're not used to that. The regular UAA class would be, say, an average of 30 students per class, and these classes have, like, the ones that I'm in, no more than 5 people. And programs like the Youth Enrichment Program is very helpful. I find it to be very helpful, because the students are used to being able to interact with their teachers more often. Anybody can do it. A lot of motivation and devotion and just wanting to do something with your life, and just, instead of just sitting at home doing nothing all day. It's not as hard as it seems, because when I thought some people from my village go to college and then go back home, and then I was thinking, oh no, college might be hard, and then that kind of scared me. So, but then now that I'm here, I realize it's not that hard. It seems like it's going to be a lot of fun.
If it's too hard to do, well, too bad. Live off your parents. Live with your mom and dad the rest of your life. Let them support you. Who's gonna put food on the table? Who's gonna buy you your next pair of shoes? You gonna let your mom and dad buy you? Hell, not me.
Thanks for this program, man. This program's pretty cool. Well, kids in the future will have like something to do and money in their pocket.
Kids gotta do, put your mind into it. Like he said, you can do whatever you want to do. Just gotta put your mind up to it. Get up and get a job, get an education.
Thanks to the Youth Opportunity Program, the kids of rural Alaska have a fighting chance to succeed in the uncertain future of the 21st century.
Just another native going one day at a time. Time to live. Just taking one day at a time. Going by pretty smooth.
Lois Indian's Kitchen, may I take your order?
You guys want a pizza?
Yeah!
Okay. This dough is made fresh every day. This is something that I enjoy. Just dealing with people and getting to know them and seeing them leave here happy. This is a real spicy Philly right there. It's called a Mexican Philly. Here's your pizza.
What's in it?
Reindeer sausage.
Fast, free delivery. Pizza, subs, and Phillies.
Heartbeat wishes to thank Hagelin Aviation Services Incorporated for making our stories possible. We travel on Hagelin Aviation and we thank you for choosing them too. Hagelin Aviation has been serving Alaskans in the bush for over 20 years.
We fly Hagelins all the time.
Operating with 29 aircraft at 8 stations across Alaska and servicing over 100 destinations daily. Hagelin Aviation, your ticket to ride in rural Alaska.
Now it's time to see Southeast Alaska. It's a place that will amaze you, Angoon.
It's a common scene in all classrooms all across America. Children starting their day reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. But it's usually not in Tlingit. These kids not only face the challenge of getting a modern education, but they also bear the responsibility of carrying on the cultural tradition of the Tlingit way of life.
I'm a second language learner, and I think it's very important that students should know their language and who they are and where they come from.
Eyes up here, please.
We call it the opening start, and it's math, science, culture, all in one. With this here, you can hit every subject in 15 minutes. You have math. You have counting by ones, you have counting by twos, you have counting by fives, you have counting by tens. You have the weather, that's science. You have more math, odd and even. Kids need to learn. You know, this is a fun way of learning all subjects, and this is a good way to start off the day in your class. The culture is part of the standards.
And the standards for this class are learning through teaching. Elaine Jack is the youth coordinator in Angoon. One way Elaine has inspired change in the kids is through the introduction of the Breakfast Book Club. The Breakfast Book Club is a program aimed at motivating kids in the village to read. This program not only feeds their minds, but fills their bellies as well.
At 8 o'clock every day, little kids come down here to eat breakfast and read a book.
Kistel has her own reasons for coming.
Because I like to have it quiet when I read a book. I like reading a lot.
It's it's helping Kistel to build a strong foundation for her future plans.
I want to become a teacher somewhere in Alaska. I'm not sure where though. I want to become a teacher or what is that word for it? Veterinarian? No, pediatrician.
I'm hoping to go to college. I'd really like to travel. And so the thing I'm wondering about right now is money.
From the beginning, I really do want to be a lawyer. I want to not do drugs, things like that. I want to be a good person.
One young man who has taken the next step with a little help from the Youth Opportunity Program is 18-year-old Rocky Estrada.
It is a good program. Like, if without that program, I wouldn't even be going to school here. I wouldn't be able to afford it because they're paying for most of my tuition. My major is marine biology. I want to like go back home, like in Southeast area, like maybe work for fishing game or something. I just want to be one of those guys that works out on the boat all day. That's fun.
Rocky is currently attending Alaska Pacific University in Anchorage, but wants to return to Southeast Alaska after getting his education. He understands how important programs like the Youth Opportunity Program are to rural Alaska and villages like Angoon, where in a community of little more than 500 people, jobs are a rare commodity.
We do work experience. We have sent about 5 to 7 kids to leadership conferences. We also do career, cultural type activities. We have another grant in the school that's going to start carving, going to start beading, which the kids like. We have community enhancement. Most importantly, our program is going to open a youth center.
I think it'll be a good opportunity for them to just kind of have something to do other than drugs and alcohol and other unhealthy behavior. I think it just shows them that the adults care, because a lot of them feel like there's a lack of care.
People didn't care. They thought that we were a generation that didn't care, didn't have any respect, didn't want anything out of our life. And now through this program, we're able to show that, yeah, we do want the work experience, we do want the responsibility, we want to be able to carry something on for this town so that it can live on.
I hope you enjoyed the show. We here at This Generation want to thank you for making this program possible. Until next time, make each day count. Goodbye and God bless.